Donald Trump's weaponized FBI under Kash Patel was completely falling apart. They just gave information about a purported new assassination attempt involving Donald Trump and others during the UFC fight. They say that there was this conspiracy to use drones to attack the UFC event, to attack the White House, to attack attendees. Now, the Secret Service is livid that the FBI started doing press releases and that Kash Patel, the FBI director, has been making social media posts about this because the Secret Service says we were still investigating a lot of this. We didn't know where some of the people were located who we believe may have been involved in this conspiracy. And now you may have just compromised the investigation about what's taking place. And when you dig deeper, though, also into the FBI affidavits that were released also, it's a very, very bizarre set of circumstances. And this also comes at a time where we're learning that Kash Patel's FBI apparently have created a slush fund for Patel to dole out money. This is what Democrats are alleging now in the Senate, that they've uncovered for FBI agents to basically do Patel's dirty work. And he just gives you these spot bonuses, $8,000 here, $5,000 here. Can you help me out with an affidavit here? Can you help me out with this? And it seems that, at least the allegations are, that Patel has been keeping this slush fund to, do one-off payments without having any oversight at all. Let me tie this all together. Last Sunday was this deranged UFC fight. Before the fight took place, I had reported on Sunday morning that I said, be on the lookout. I feel like the Trump regime is going to claim another outside event, that something's going to be happening. And I also said Trump's been talking a lot about drones lately. And so I said, I bet you he says that there was a drone attack. Go back and watch the Sunday video I did before all of this took place. And sure enough, that's what they claim took place. And obviously it's a serious allegation where you're saying there was a group of people who were conspiring to potentially utilize drones to target the White House or to target people at the UFC event. When you dig deeper, though, into what it looks like happened, and again, I think everybody's presumed innocent and all of these things, but it appears that there were individuals who were radicalized or may have been mentally ill, who started talking to each other online about issues that were really disturbing them. And it's issues that disturb all of us, though. I mean, Epstein files, data centers, and things like that. But that this group of 19-year-old men from Central Ohio and others who met on these, right-wing chats. They went into they found each other online. They went into the Signal chat, and then they started, talking about their fantasies of what they want to see happen and all of that. It doesn't seem like they really advanced this to a degree of this was imminent. We'll see what the facts ultimately show. It seems like one of the moms saw their son sending messages, or one of the 19-year-olds, mommy, saw what they were doing and then alerted the Secret Service. And that began this investigation. And then they got that person's phone. They saw that person was sending Signal messages to other people. And then there was an affidavit to basically arrest these, it was a group of over a dozen people or so. And then Patel got wind of this. And then Patel does what Patel does. He rushed to Fox. He leaked it to Fox. Fox did a story about it. And Patel framed it as he's the hero. And it seemed like Trump didn't even know about it, because when Trump was at the G7, Trump was being asked, so what do you make about this drone assassination? And Trump's like, I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. But Patel leaks it to his preferred reporters at Fox, and they run with the story. Drone assassination of Trump was stopped by Kash Patel. And the Secret Service was like, we haven't even finished the investigation with a lot of people. And now, we haven't even been able to investigate it. And now by leaking this, you could kind of compromise the overall investigation and the prosecution also, to the extent this was real and it was happening. because all the other people now know, what you're doing. And they may just be like, hey, these are just a bunch of, 19-year-olds, 4chaners or 8chaners, wherever they are, just saying a bunch of crazy stuff on a Signal chat, and that they didn't have the requisite mens rea, the mental state, to actually carry this out. But that became a major story. I want to bring in Harry Littman from the Talking Feds YouTube channel, Talking Feds Substack. Harry, I'll also just bring up, this report about the slush fund and this letter that's been sent by some Democratic Congress members that call out Kash Patel for keeping the slush fund. But I mean, he's run the FBI into the ground now, whether it's with the slush fund, whether it's things like this, and here he goes again. This could potentially compromise this thing, and it's like nobody believes even what they're saying anymore is true.
So it's really true, and this is a fundamental kind of screw up. You're not supposed to, and for very good reason, let people know about a pending investigation. First, you compromise all the rights of the putative defendants who may have done nothing wrong. And then second, you can really screw up the investigation itself. So it's totally clear this is something one doesn't do. And the Secret Service were the ones who got this tip first. And it is really consistent with the kinds of grousing and more you've heard within the FBI about Kash Patel, that he would basically just grab it and put himself out front. Nobody should be putting themselves out front. And then it sure appears that Kash Patel last of all, because he doesn't have any business or knowledge. It's just this self-aggrandizing move. That's, the kind of basic first and foremost thing that you don't do, and that's just been honored in the breach under Patel. He's all about credit. He's all, about public recognition and the like. So, and this is a pretty good example because, we really don't know. Are these guys sort of a bunch of bozos who aren't really doing anything? And if you look hard, there's nothing there. Are they a serious group that were possibly looking to do harm? Are they somewhere in the middle where they themselves aren't so dangerous, but they might know other people who are? There's a lot to be done at this stage of the investigation. And now basically forget about it. The top has been completely blown off. And both these guys have been publicized, and whatever, to the extent there's anything real behind it, the odds now of getting to it are small. And now to this slush fund. Again, the first point to make is, what the hell? I've never heard of this. So it's not like some directors or some places might have discretionary awards at the end of the year. This, at least as reported, is, here you go do my dry laundry, or maybe do this solid for my girlfriend on the plane or whatever. Just complete Patel discretion, and to be used for, there's certainly no indication, the kind of right thing you'd want to. But exactly where does it come from? What's this little cash booty that he just sort of has in his top drawer in his desk? How does it happen? Remember, Congress appropriates money, all money, that's down to the pencils for the FBI. So what's he doing here? Who gave it to him? Do we have to worry about that person who gave it to him? Why did he give it to him? So the whole thing is a head scratcher, except since it's Kash Patel, it's a little more than a head scratcher. It's like an is this one more example of the kind of ways in which he's really derogated from what an FBI director is supposed to do? What's he using the fund for, and the like? So both of these things start at a point of some mystery, except especially the first one, you want to get to the bottom of the mystery. And when Kash Patel struts out and says, it's all me, that makes it much less likely, not to mention that it may be violating the constitutional rights of potential suspects here. So it's, right there on page 1 of the What You Don't Do as FBI Director. And it's this in particular. And of course, he has become the poster child for a lot of things you don't do as FBI Director. This is the latest.
This is now the 5th assassination attempt story. In the past month and a half, it's the 3rd White House correspondence, late May, now drone attack. And Trump has used these incidents as a way to sell the ballroom.
Right.
And we know that now from the Washington Post story, we're talking about $600 million plus,
and rising,
and
with a public price tag. That's right. Also,
and then the underground aspect may add another billion to. I mean, we could be talking in the range of $1.5 billion, $2 billion. And Trump keeps talking about it's drone proof. It's a shield against the drones. And Patel knows that. And the hard part is, Harry, is that when you hear stories like this now, because of all the lies that come out of this regime, you go to yourself, what is this? Whatever we think about this with all of the red flags, what I think is undisputed is, unlike prior administrations, the Trump regime transactionally uses assassination attempts to quickly achieve selfish goals for Donald Trump that make people go, this all smells bad. And I'll just leave it at that. What do you think?
It's the same. And first and foremost on these goals, the incredible vanity project of the White House East Wing, which wasn't about security now, but he's trying to shoehorn it into that legally. And as you say, reports now, he said again and again and again, no more than $400 million, not a penny to be paid by taxpayers. And it's now going well past that and on a sort of pace to go to the $1 billion mark. And a lot of it is public money. The Secret Service is putting in. Why exactly the Secret Service is the ones that are doing this? It's a little bit unclear. You've had previous alums from the service and GSA saying, I don't see why this comes to them. But the immediate point is it just puts the lie, I'm sorry, there's no other good word for it, to the continual assurances that the public, which hates this thing, by the way, won't have to pay any money for it. So that's just sort of insult to injury.
Everybody subscribe to Harry Litman's YouTube channel. It's called Talking Feds. Search Talking Feds right now. Subscribe there. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you, Ben.
Everybody subscribe here as well.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.